Today's fairy tale is a Norwegian story called The Master Thief, and it's like Ocean's 11 if they were all one dude. There's a poor man who has nothing to give his 3 sons, so he takes them to a crossroad where there's 3 roads, and he's like, all right, each of you go on a road, bye, have fun. The youngest ends up lost in the woods, and then when a storm strikes, he tries to go inside this house. An old woman lets him in, but she's like, you can't stay here, this is a house of robbers, and he's like, I'll chance it. If you wonder why the old woman's there, she says they stole her when she was little, and she's had to keep house for them ever since. Our dude's really charming and confident, so when the robbers come back, he's like, hey, I want to live with you and become one of you. And they're like, all right, we'll take you on, we'll teach you the trade. But you got to prove yourself. You got to steal an ox that a man is taking to market. The boy goes to the road and leaves a shoe with a silver buckle in the middle of the road. And then when the guy comes with the ox, he's like, oh, that shoe would be nice if I had the other, but I don't, so I'm going to keep going. So he keeps going down the road, and the boy takes the shoe, plants it ahead, so that when the guy comes upon the shoe again, he's like, oh, this is the second shoe. I got to go back for the first shoe and I'll have both of them. But he leaves the ox to do it, so our dude steals the ox. The robbers are like, okay, you can stay with us now, but you'll really be one of us if you steal this guy's second ox. So the next day, the dude is taking his second ox. So this time our dude goes and does a Veronica Sawyer and fake hangs himself in a tree, and when the guy goes by, he's like, oh, a dead person in the tree. I mean, that was normal to see back then. Then the boy runs ahead and hangs himself again, and the dude's like, that's weird, I just thought I saw that. And then the boy runs ahead and hangs himself again, and this time the dude's like, this might be witchcraft. I need to go back and see if those other 2 bodies are there. And when he goes back, our dude takes the ox. Now the robbers are like, not only are you one of us, we'll make you our leader if you can steal this man's 3rd and last ox. The boy chooses a simpler method for the 3rd ox. He goes into the woods and makes an ox sound, and then the ox man thinks it's one of his stolen oxen, so he leaves his ox to go look for it, and then our dude takes the 3rd one. Well, turns out the robbers are now jealous of this dude for being so much better at robbing than them, so they decide to just abandon him, and they leave him alone in the house. So he takes the oxen and sends them out on the road, where they go home to their owner. He gets his oxen back, and then he takes all the robbers' horses, loads up all their stuff, and goes home to his father like, look, I'm a rich man now. But we are not done yet. So it turns out our dude falls in love with the daughter of a local squire who's higher up in nobility than him. He tells his dad, go ask the squire if I can marry his daughter, say the master thief is asking. The dad doesn't want to do it, and the son threatens him with a birch stick, so he goes and he does it, and the squire says, well, if he's the master thief, I'll let him marry my daughter if he can steal the roast from the spit on Sunday. So our guy catches 3 hares and at intervals releases them into the kitchen, and they all think it's the same hare, and they're running around trying to get this rabbit that keeps coming back, except it's 3 rabbits, and he goes in and he steals the roast. When he comes to say, all right, I get to marry your daughter now, the squire's like, no, I have another thing I want you to do. I want you to play a trick on a priest. The master thief dresses up as an angel and gets in a tree and convinces the priest that he has come to take him to heaven. The priest believes him and lets him drag him like over thorns and rocks and stuff him in a goose house, where he tells him, never mind, you're in purgatory, and then goes and steals all the priest's stuff and takes it back to the squire and says, all right, I did it. Well, now the dude says you need to steal the 12 horses from the stable with 12 grooms sitting on them. So our dude now, who loves disguises apparently, dresses up like an old woman and asks for shelter in the stable for the night and brings brandy against the cold. And as he's drinking it, the other grooms are like, can we have some of that? And he's like, sure, but he gives them drugged brandy and knocks them all out. And then he steals the horses. So this time the squire's like, well, I bet you couldn't steal a horse from me. Our dude says, yes, I can. So the way he does it is one day the squire's out riding his horse, and our dude disguises himself again with a cask of mead, and he puts his finger in a hole in the cask. The squire rides up and he's like, hey, you there, boy, with your finger in the cask. Have you seen the master thief around? And he's like, no, I can't go anywhere because I gotta keep my finger in this hole to keep the mead inside. So the squire's like, I'll stick my finger in for you, and you go ride my horse and find the master thief. So he does, and obviously he takes off on his horse and he wins. Finally, the squire says, okay, you have to steal the sheets off my bed and my wife's shift, like a undergarment, like a nightgown. So that's when we get to this picture. The thief makes a dummy that looks like him. He puts it up at the window, the squire shoots it, and he lets it drop. So, I mean, like, he was planning to kill him. And the squire thinks he has killed him, which, you know, is murder. So he goes to bury the body and keep it a secret. So while he's out doing that, our dude dresses up to pretend to be the squire and goes to his wife. He says, hey, I need your shift to clean up the blood of the guy I just murdered. And she's like, okay, takes it off, gives it to him. And he takes the sheets from the bed, and he wins. The squire finally says, you can marry my daughter, mostly because he's terrified of what he will steal next and pretty much feels he's unkillable. which he kind of is. The story ends telling us the master thief lived well and happily from that time forth. Hopefully his wife did too and was wanting to marry him, but we never know. Whether he stole any more or not, I cannot tell you, the narrator says, but if he did, it was but for pastime. Just for fun. There is a Brothers Grimm version of this story, but it's much shorter. It starts with him coming to his dad rich, having learned how to be a robber. All the stuff with the robbers and the ox is cut out. He's also kind of a nicer dude in the Brothers Grimm story. In this one, he threatens to beat his father and stuff, but in the Brothers Grimm story, they try to make his thievery even a little bit more moral. He tells his dad, "Do not imagine that I steal like a common thief. I only take superfluous things from the rich. Poor people are safe, and I would rather give to them than take anything from them." Very Robin Hood, and more likable, although just being that good at stealing stuff is pretty charming in itself. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.